Every moment I've spent holding back has felt like a silence too loud to ignore. But now I'm finally ready to speak what's been echoing in my heart. In the quiet of my thoughts, I've allowed myself to imagine us in every way, yet somehow there's always been a fear of what might happen if I let those thoughts escape. The more I try to hold back, the more I realize that silence isn't freedom. It's a cage I've created in my mind. There's a part of me that's been waiting for permission to let my thoughts run wild. But in truth, I've always had the power to speak my heart. I used to filter every word, but now I see the beauty in letting my soul express itself, raw and unapologetic. If my feelings for you were ink, the paper would be stained with every word I've kept hidden. I've spent so long hiding parts of myself from you, but now I'm pretending my heart isn't fully exposed. What's been inside me for so long can no longer be restrained by fear. It's time for my truth to be told. Every emotion I've kept under wraps is a story waiting to unfold. Here it is, unfiltered and untamed. In the past, I was afraid of my own intensity, but now I realize that vulnerability is where I truly thrive. The depths of my thoughts about you are like a river, too powerful to be held back for much longer. I'm no longer afraid of the consequences of my thoughts. They are a reflection of the truth within me. My heart has always been loud, even when my words were quiet. Now, I'm ready for both to be heard. I've kept my wildest dreams of us in the shadows, but now I see there's no reason to hide the brilliance of what I feel. There was a time I felt I had to soften my thoughts to keep peace, but now I know peace comes from embracing my true desires. Every part of me that I've tried to quiet now stands tall, demanding to be seen and heard. The thoughts I've kept locked away are more than just desires. They are the truths I was afraid to face. I'm no longer holding back the storm inside me. It's time to let the thunder of my emotions echo in every corner. There's a clarity in finally letting go of the need to censor myself. My feelings are mine to share, not to hide. For too long, I lived in the silence of what I couldn't say, but now my heart is speaking louder than ever. I've always felt like an ocean of feelings crashing against the shore, but I have learned to let the waves roll freely now. I've spent countless moments wondering if my thoughts were too much, but I've realized they're exactly what I need to say. No more hiding the intensity of what I feel. This is my truth, unfiltered and bold. The voice inside me that I have silenced for so long is finally finding its way to the surface. When I stop holding back, My emotions aren't just words, they're the essence of who I am. There's freedom in not censoring the wildest parts of my heart. Only then can I truly be me. The things I've kept locked in my mind for so long now have wings, ready to fly. I've been holding onto so much that it feels like I'm about to burst. This is me, finally letting go. My feelings are no longer whispers. They are declarations that demand to be heard. For too long, I thought restraint was a form of strength, but now I know that true strength lies in unfiltered authenticity. The power of letting go of all the rules in my mind is that I can finally breathe freely. Every thought I've kept hidden about you is like a melody waiting to be played. Now the symphony begins. I used to fear the wildness of my emotions, but now I see that it's that very wildness that makes me whole. There's a fire in my heart that I've tried to control, but now I know fires are meant to burn bright and free. I used to worry about what people might think, but now I don't care. My thoughts are mine to share. I'm tired of pretending I don't feel everything so deeply. My emotions are my power, and I'm done hiding them. The quiet moments spent censoring myself are over. Now I'm letting my feelings rise like a wave ready to crash. What I've kept inside for so long is more than a thought. It's a part of me that needs to be expressed. For too long, I've been afraid of the impact my emotions could have, but now I realize the impact comes from embracing them. I've been living in a world of silence, but now my heart is loud, and it's speaking only truths. I'm finally accepting that my wildest thoughts are just as important as my quiet ones. They all come from the same place of love. I've held back pieces of myself that I thought were too much, but now I see that they are exactly what makes me unique. The more I tried to quiet my feelings, the more I realized they were growing louder. Now they're free. I no longer need to filter my thoughts. They are the truest form of self-expression. Every part of me that I once considered too wild is now embraced, and in that embrace, I find peace. The freedom I've been searching for isn't outside of me, it's within me, in the unfiltered thoughts I've been too afraid to share. The strength it took to keep my thoughts to myself pales in comparison to the freedom of letting them flow. I've spent so much time worrying about what others would think of me, but now I'm more concerned with what I think of myself. My heart is finally speaking in a language that doesn't require translation, only understanding. I'm done trying to make sense of every thought. Now I'm just letting them exist in their purest form. The intensity of my feelings for you cannot be dimmed or ignored. It's time to let them shine. I've been censoring my soul for far too long, but now I'm ready to let it speak for itself. Every emotion I've held back is a story left untold, but now it's time for me to be the author of my own narrative. I've been too afraid to express the depth of my thoughts, but now there's nothing left to fear. I'm done hiding my desires, my thoughts, my feelings. They are all a part of me, and it's time I embrace them fully. The more I let go of my need to censor myself, the more I feel like I'm finally being honest with who I really am. There's no longer any space in my life for self-doubt about how I feel. Everything I feel is valid. The weight of what I haven't said is no longer mine to carry. I'm ready to share it all. I'm finally understanding that silence isn't peace. It's only the absence of expression. Now, I choose to express it all. The thoughts I've kept under wraps are no longer a burden, they're a part of my truth that I'm finally ready to live out loud. I've spent years censoring my thoughts, but now I see the beauty in letting them flow unchained. The walls I've built around my emotions are finally crumbling, and I'm stepping into the light of truth. No longer do I question the depth of my feelings. They are as real as the air I breathe, and I'm not afraid to share them. I've hidden so much, thinking it was too much to handle, but now I realize it's who I am, unapologetically me. The more I let go of my need for control, the more I see the beauty in my raw emotions. What once felt like a storm inside me is now a gentle breeze, one that flows freely with every thought I've ever held back. I no longer see my vulnerability as weakness. It's a strength, one that I embrace with every fiber of my being. There is a freedom in allowing myself to feel everything, to let it all pour out, unfiltered and real. I've been living in the silence of my own mind for too long, but now I'm ready to let my voice be heard. Every emotion I've kept hidden is a whisper that wants to be a shout. Now I'm finally listening. The truth I've been hiding is no longer mine to keep. It's time to let it take flight and soar freely. There's power in embracing what I once tried to suppress. Those very thoughts are the heartbeats of who I truly am. I've spent my life holding on to my feelings, but now I see that the release is where the healing begins. For too long, I've been afraid of the intensity of my emotions, but now I know that intensity is what makes me alive. What once felt like a burden is now a gift. My wild thoughts are the truest parts of me. I used to believe that silence was a form of strength, but now I see that true strength is in speaking my truth without fear. The person I've been hiding is the person I've always been meant to be, wild, free, and unapologetically honest. I've spent too long running from my feelings, but now I'm standing still, allowing them to wash over me with clarity. Every unspoken word, every unshared thought was a piece of me waiting to be set free, and now it finally is. No more hiding behind masks of politeness and restraint. My feelings are my own, and I choose to express them fully. The time for silence has passed. Now, I'm letting every thought I've held back find its place in the world. What I once feared might overwhelm me is now the very thing that empowers me to be whole. I've spent too much time trying to control my emotions, but now I know that letting go is the only way to be truly free. The truth I've been withholding is like a garden waiting to bloom. No longer will I keep it hidden in the dark. I'm finally giving myself permission to feel without restraint, to express without fear, and to love without limits. No longer will I try to tame my wildest thoughts. They are part of my journey, and I accept them all. The things I once thought were too bold or too much are now the foundation of my unapologetic existence. In every unspoken word, I've found a deeper connection with myself, and now it's time to share it with the world. My heart, once held back by fear, now beats loudly with every emotion I've ever kept locked inside. I used to fear the power of my thoughts, but now I see that they are the very source of my strength.